My girlfriend said I'm too boring. So I did this. You're just boring, okay? There, I said it. Those words hit different when they come from the person you love. But what I did next, nobody saw it coming, especially not her. Let me take you back to where this all started. So there I was, 28 years old, dating Sarah for 2 years. We had what I thought was a solid relationship. I'm a software engineer. She's a marketing manager. Pretty standard, right? Our routine was predictable, sure. Friday movie nights, Saturday grocery shopping, Sunday brunch. I thought we were comfortable. Turns out, she thought we were comatose. It happened 3 weeks ago. We're at dinner, our usual Italian place, our usual table, and she just stops eating, puts down her fork, and says, "Jake, when was the last time you surprised me?" I laughed it off. Reminded her about the flowers I brought home last month. She didn't laugh. That's exactly what I mean. You brought flowers because it was our anniversary. When have you ever done something spontaneous? Something unpredictable? Something that made me think, wow, I had no idea he had this in him? And then came the words I mentioned earlier. The ones that stung. You're just boring, okay? Now I could have gotten defensive. Could have argued. But something about the way she said it. Not angry, just tired. That hit harder than any argument. That night I couldn't sleep. Boring. That word kept echoing. Was I boring? I ran through my life like a highlight reel. And honestly, she wasn't wrong. I woke up at 6:30 every morning. Same breakfast. Same route to work. Same lunch spot. I even had the same barista joke. Another Monday, another coffee. And it was Thursday. But here's where it gets interesting. Instead of spiraling, I made a decision. A crazy, completely out-of-character decision. I wasn't going to tell Sarah. I wasn't going to announce some big change. I was just going to become someone different, someone she'd never expect. The next morning, I called in sick to work. First time in 3 years. Then I did something I'd never done before. I Googled how to become interesting. I know. But wait, because what happened next changed everything. I spent that entire day going down a rabbit hole. Not of generic self-help articles, but of genuinely asking myself, what did I want to do that I'd always been too scared to try? By evening, I had a list. A weird, eclectic, absolutely insane list. Learned a salsa dance take. An improv comedy class. Learn to cook something actually impressive, do something. Adrenaline pumping, develop a mysterious hobby she'd never guess. Now here's where I became a genius, or a complete psychopath. Depending on how you look at it, I decided to do all of them, but in secret. Sarah couldn't know. She'd just see the results. Week 1. Salsa dancing. Every lunch break, I'd sneak off to this dance studio downtown. My instructor, Rico, was a 60-year-old Cuban man who took one look at my 2 left feet and said, "Ay, Dios mío, we have work to do." I practiced in my living room at 5 a.m. before Sarah woke up. My downstairs neighbor probably thought I was having a medical emergency. Week 2. Improv classes Tuesday and Thursday nights. I told Sarah I was working late on a project. Not technically a lie, the project was me. Improv terrified me. But something about forcing yourself to be spontaneous. It started rewiring my brain. I stopped overthinking everything. Week 3. Cooking. I enrolled in this intense cooking workshop. We learned knife skills, flavor profiles, the whole deal. I'd practice new recipes on nights Sarah worked late, then hide all evidence. The weird part? I was actually good at it. But the 5th thing on my list? That's where things got mysterious. I'd always been fascinated by lockpicking. Weird, I know, but there's something about the puzzle of it, the mechanics, that appealed to my engineering brain. So I bought a practice kit. Started learning. Got obsessed. Within 2 weeks, I could pick most standard locks. I'd time myself, treat it like a game. And I never told Sarah. Why? Because I was building towards something. You see, Sarah had this antique desk she inherited from her grandmother. Beautiful piece, but one of the drawers had been locked for years. She'd lost the key, and she'd always been sad about not knowing what was inside. I spent a week researching antique lock mechanisms, bought specialized picks, and one Sunday afternoon, while she was out with friends, I picked the lock. Inside was a collection of old letters between her grandparents, photos from the 1940s, and a vintage bracelet. I carefully cataloged everything, then relocked it. I was going to give her the moment of opening it herself, but I needed to be able to open it whenever she was ready. 3 weeks after she called me boring, Sarah came home from work on a Friday. Our usual movie night, but when she walked in, I wasn't on the couch. I was in the kitchen and the apartment smelled incredible. "What's going on?" she asked, genuinely confused. "Dinner," I said simply. And then, "We're going out." I'd cooked braised short ribs with a red wine reduction, roasted vegetables, and homemade tiramisu. She was speechless. After dinner, I drove us to this salsa club downtown. She thought we were just watching. Then the music started, I took her hand, and I could actually dance. Like, really dance. Her face went through about 15 emotions in 5 seconds. Confusion, shock, disbelief, and then pure joy. We danced for 2 hours. I spun her, dipped her, made her laugh. People were watching us. The boring software engineer and his girlfriend tearing up the dance floor. On the drive home, she kept looking at me like I was a stranger. "Jake, what is happening?" "Who are you?" I smiled. "Wait, there's more." Back at the apartment, I pulled out my lockpicking kit. "Remember your grandmother's desk?" Her eyes widened. "The locked drawer?" I knelt down, picks in hand, and worked the lock. 30 seconds later, click. The drawer opened. Sarah gasped when she saw the contents. The letters, the photos, the bracelet. She started crying, the good kind of crying. When did you learn? "Jake, this is..." She couldn't finish sentences, just kept looking between the drawer and me like I'd performed actual magic. Then I told her everything. The classes, the cooking, the early morning practice sessions, the lockpicking obsession. All of it. "You did all this because I called you boring?" "No," I said. "I did this because you were right. I was boring. Not just to you, to myself. I'd stopped trying, stopped growing, stopped being curious about life." She was quiet for a long moment. "This is the most interesting thing anyone has ever done for me, but also kind of unhinged." We both laughed. That was 3 months ago. Sarah and I are still together, stronger than ever, actually. But here's the twist nobody expected. I didn't stop. The improv classes led to me performing at an open mic. The cooking became a weekend passion. I picked up photography, started rock climbing, learned basic magic tricks. Sarah jokes that she created a monster. But really, she just woke up someone who'd been sleepwalking through life. Last week, she surprised me. Came home with 2 plane tickets to Costa Rica. No plan, no itinerary. Just an adventure. "I figured if you can become spontaneous," she said, "so can I." So here's my advice to anyone who's been called boring. Or worse, knows they're boring but won't admit it. Don't get defensive. Get curious. Life's too short to be predictable. Too short to be a supporting character in your own story. And sometimes, the best way to change your relationship isn't to change your partner. It's to change yourself into the person you've always wanted to be. Oh, and learn to pick locks. You never know when it'll come in handy. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button and drop a comment. What's the most boring thing about your life that you want to change? Let's hold each other accountable. Subscribe for more Reddit stories that'll make you question everything. And remember, boring is a choice. Choose differently. I'll see you in the next one.